Dempsey here. Last time we were together, we read the nonfiction text Trains and made text-to-self connections. This is our text, Trains. It's by Matt Yoden, and we said last time that he had a consulting editor, Gail Sanderson Smith, PhD. What I'd like you to do is take a moment and think about, what do you remember about this book, Trains? Share with your grown-up. I remember that we learned a ton of facts about trains. We learned what trains are. We learned that they carry things. We learned that trains have wheels and they ride along tracks. We learned that there's different kinds of trains. Then, after we talked about the different kinds of trains, we made a text-to-self connection. My text-to-self connection, the book reminded me of all the trips that I've taken to New York City to visit my sister-in-law, my Paige's aunt. So, I just want to review with you for a moment here the different types of connections there are that a good reader could make. Types of connections. Text to self. That's book to you. What does a book remind you of? Text to text is when a book reminds you of another book. We're going to be doing a text-to-text connection in just another moment. Text to media. Text to media is when a text or a book reminds you of something you've seen on TV or read in the newspaper. Text to world is kind of similar to text to media, but it might be things that have already happened or are happening on a global level that impacted many people. Okay. So now that we're thinking about the different kinds of connections, today we're going to compare this story, Trains, with another story we've read together, On the Go. Today, I would like you to be thinking about, in what ways are these books the same and different? Please pause the video and share with your grown-ups some of the things that you notice that are the same and different. We're going to write down some of Miss Dempsey's ideas in just a moment. So I made a little chart here. And on this chart, let's see, it has On the Go on this side. So let's see if I can get them to stand up. And the story Trains is on this side. I'm going to take this down for a second. We can put that up when we need it. So on this chart, it has the title of each of our stories, so On the Go and Trains. And then there's this middle column that says Both. So I'm taking a moment to think about a text-to-text connection that I've been having. That in both of these books, there are people traveling. So I'm going to write the word travel. Another thing that I noticed about both of these books were their nonfiction. Nonfiction means they have factual information. It's true, it's real, it's not made up. Let me think about one more piece of information. Not only do they talk about traveling in both books, but in both books they mention types of trains. When I look at On the Go, it says, all aboard, trains switch from track to track. So in both books, whoops, trying to hold too many things at once, Miss Dempsey. So in both books there's travel, they're both nonfiction, they both have trains, and they both talk about the railroad tracks. There we go. Okay. Now, I'm going going to be looking more individually at each book. So things that are different. Well, in this book, they don't just talk about trains, they talk about all kinds of different forms of transportation. So I'm going to put all sorts of ways to travel. Did they talk about all sorts of ways to travel in the book Trains? No, they only talked about trains. So I'm going to write that. Only trains. Only trains. What other differences did these two books have? Let me think. Well, in this book, we saw animals, and we saw how people travel in different cities around the world. There wasn't much mention about different places other than our country. It just said across the country in our book, Trains. So I might write that this one was more about the world, whereas this one was more about our country. But does that mean that trains can't be in other countries? No, not at all. There are trains all over the world. And there's many, many other things that these books have in common and that they have different. But those are just a few of the things that I noticed right away. Put my books down for a moment. I'm going to be rereading a few parts of our story today. And before I reread them, I would like to introduce two new vocabulary words to you. We talked about the word warn yesterday. In our book, Trains, they use loud whistles. There was a part in our story that said choo choo. Oh, here it is. Choo choo. Trains have loud whistles. Whistles warn people that a train is coming. So that loud choo choo sound isn't just for fun. It's to let people know, hey, a big train is coming through. If you're driving, you need to stop and wait. It's a way to signal or tell somebody without words that something might be happening. The last section of our book, Trains, was called Mighty Machines. I wanted to know more about that. I was wondering how they saw a train as a mighty machine yesterday. First of all, the first word is mighty. Mighty means very strong. When I think about a train, I know that a train has to be very strong to carry all of its cargo. The car after car after car of freight that it might carry. So is a train mighty? It is. It has to be very strong. And then my other word here is machine. We talked about machines in our force unit. A machine is a thing that does work for people. A machine might be large or small and has many parts. So is a train a machine? What does a train help people do? A train is a machine. It helps people do a job. It helps them travel from place to place. It might help people travel, or it might help them get goods and cargo from one place to another. So does the heading or mini title in the book, Mighty Machines, make sense? It does. They are strong machines. Trains roll through tunnels and under bridges. They are mighty machines. Now that we have all of our vocabulary words here and we've been thinking about them, I want to talk about some of the vocabulary activities that I've sent along in the email this week. Oh, here they are. The first activity that I have for this week is our cut and paste. So at your home, you may have a paper that looks something like this. If you don't, it's okay. But it has 4 little pictures that go with our 4 words here. And then you'll have a strip that has the words on it to cut and to glue with the picture that matches. So the first thing I want to do is see what my pictures are. My first picture is someone holding a stop sign and a car. And then my next picture is a girl who looks really strong. She's holding some weights. And then I have down here a tractor that people use to farm and maybe to take care of their yards. And then the last one is someone who is maybe being unsafe on the slide. They're climbing up instead of sliding down. And it looks like there's a friend saying, hey, that's not safe. So let's see which word makes sense with which picture. Our first word is worn. Can you find which picture worn might go with? I think it's this one. This friend is warning the other friend who's being unsafe on the slide. I imagine he might be saying, don't climb up the slide, you might get hurt. Warn. Our next word that I'd like to look for is signal. Remember, a signal is something that a person might do or a sound they might make that lets another person know a message. It communicates something like a warning sometimes. Is a tractor a signal? No. I think this one has the signal. The crossing guard is holding up a stop sign. It's a signal that lets cars know they have to stop. And then we have 2 more pictures. Let's take a peek at one that might show mighty. Ooh, mighty means strong. For me, I think that the girl who is using those strong muscles to hold up the weights is showing mighty, leaving us with only machine left. And a machine is something that can be big or small, and it has parts, and it helps people do a job. And the machine that I see helping someone is that tractor. It's helping them to do whatever farming or gardening type job that they need to do outside. So after you cut them and glue them, you can color it in. And then we have 2 other activities that you can do throughout the week while you're practicing your vocabulary. The first one being choosing your favorite vocabulary word and drawing a picture. You'll write the word and then draw a picture. So my favorite word was mighty. So I might draw a picture of Miss Dempsey lifting up something super heavy, like carrying my big bag of books to my house so that I can do these videos for you. Another activity that you might do this week is to write your favorite word in a sentence. So maybe you choose the word signal and you draw a picture of you using hand signals to let cars and traffic know where you're going so that you can stay safe on your bike. Okay, well, those are some of the activities that you could do with your vocabulary this week, and I hope you enjoy them and have a good time. Thank you. So good to see you again. Bye.